Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Friends on the Brahma Kumaris YouTube station channel. And I'm Meredith. I am really looking forward to this interview because this person, I have been hearing about him for so long, and I have seen some of his programs, but I don't think I've ever met him before. And I'm really feeling bad because I haven't met him before. And he has done so many great things for the Brahma Kumaris. He's a Brahma Kumaris student, teacher. Enrique Simo, sorry about that. Enrique Simo, right?
Yes.
Has been studying and teaching with the Brahma Kumaris for over 30 years. He's an expert in mindfulness and meditation. And what I find is very interesting is that he takes his work and his whole way of thinking, not just to centers or he takes it into the corporations of the world and to organizations. And Enrique, it's great to have you on the program. And what I'm thinking is that they really are the ones in need, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with corporations and uncertainty and constant change. And so I would think you are in the right place, right? And I did want to just mention a couple of the places that you've actually, just some major corporations that you've been with. And I think one is IKEA, right? And there's some others. Give me a second. You're also an Oxford Leadership Academy, a fellow at the Oxford Leadership Academy. Did I say you're coming to us from Madrid? Here you are in New York right now. So tell us about the work that you have been doing for a long time and reaching people that I would think are really in need, right? With the changes going on with corporations and organizations.
Mhm. So first of all, thank you, Meredith, for this opportunity. I always like very much to be able to share a little bit the experience because this is the main thing, that when you share your experience, someone can be inspired by that, no? So I'm really practicing meditation for so many years, and I see in myself the benefits and how good it works in life, in a practical life, not only personal but also professional and also family life. That I want to share this with other people wherever I am. So this is my aim. And of course, in the centers, I can give the course and the people come from that, but also but in different other scenarios like corporate world, people are not so open to these things, but in fact, they want to learn something different and they need something. And I don't know in America, but in Spain, it's becoming very popular now, mindfulness and also meditation. But 30 years back or 20 years back, even, I was trying to introduce in all my programs a little bit of something. And they say to me sometimes, Enrique, we know that you meditate, but please don't say the word meditation. They don't like this, so don't say it. So after a few years, they say to me, you can use the word mindfulness. Ah, okay, okay. And now they are saying to me, talk about meditation. Please tell us about meditation. So it has been a progressive, slowly change. And now the corporative world and people, I would say, the people in general, they are more open to meditation. There are many studies about the benefits of meditation. So now science also is helping us, and I'm very happy because I can introduce in a much more scientific way with much more data also the benefits and all the good things that meditation can bring to your life. But the thing is that many people want to meditate, but very few people are able to finally to create the habit and meditate. Because now the tendency is to think a lot, to think very fast. And this is a training. People in corporate world, in universities, everywhere, they train us to think very quickly, to analyze, to take data from here, more information, more information. And then the mind becomes so fast and goes so fast. And if it goes fast, you cannot catch the subtle things of the life and of the world. And so in these programs that I will convey in USA, I want to give them the experience of all the people know who comes, the experience that a peaceful mind, the mind who is calm, has much more power, and you can get better results and you can find better solutions when you have silence in your mind. It's not an empty mind, no. It's a
Mm.
silent mind, which is different. And in this silence, you get the answer, you get the solution. You don't need to think so much to find the answer, the solution, to resolve the problems. You receive the information, but you need to practice because this is not an easy or natural way now in our minds. The natural tendency is to think a lot. So this, I think, is one of the messages that I want to convey, and I see that it's so important in nowadays in our lives.
But people, I mean, they're coming, like you say, from all kinds of backgrounds, right? From all kinds of cultures. And all of a sudden now you're saying, this is it's really a whole new way of thinking, isn't it? It's like you say, not the way it once was. The way it once was so much slower and so much, I don't want to say easier, but life wasn't moving and moving and moving. And so is it sometimes, do people come in and, you sit with them, you work with them, and then you see the changes pretty quickly?
Well, I can see the changes, not so quickly maybe, but what I've
Mm.
observed is that the more we practice, with the ones who wants to have this experience, no, we can influence with our vibrations, with our energy, other people, so that they can have an experience. And when they have an experience, then they want to practice. And this is the real work to practice. But at the beginning, they need to have a taste of what is a peaceful mind, a calm mind. And I've observed that with many, many people, you cannot talk too much. You have to give them an experience. But not only in the corporate world, I can tell you also about my personal life. I have a daughter and two grandchildren. And
Oh, okay.
my granddaughter, she has a very strong character, very strong character.
Hmm.
And it's very,
Yeah.
a little bit, it's like she's always upset, no?
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
tried to teach them meditation, and she was reacting all the time. No? But then I realized that if I create an atmosphere, if I create an internal stage, and she's beside me, with me, she gets influenced. So I've tried this, and I was able to make her meditate without saying meditation. But she was staying beside me like this, for more than 1 hour, completely calm, quiet, without knowing what she was doing. But I was not creating any waste thought, just be concentrated and very consciously influencing her positively in a peaceful manner, no, without any thoughts, any judgment, anything. And she was like this, no, with me and just in silence. So I was saying, okay, no words, just give the experience, no.
So
So
maybe that's what we have to do with that's such a great story, great experience. So
exactly.
maybe that's how we have to approach how we talk to people about meditation and mindfulness and all of these kinds of things because I don't know, like you said, often we're talking too much about it, but we're not being it. And I know myself getting ready
Exactly.
today for this interview, they happen to be in my house for the weekend. They live in New York, and there's the 3-year-old who's really precious, but he's very loud, and I couldn't even find a place in my house to have this interview. And then I just sat there for a few minutes, and I just had to get calm myself and say, this is going to work. Everybody will get quiet when Enrique comes on the program. And I think that my son-in-law was really wonderful, and he's took them out because I don't hear them now. But I know that my own stage was sort of shaking a little bit because there was so much noise going on. And I'm just thinking that, it's, what is the famous saying, right? Be the change, not, be the change to change the world, really. That's not the exact way it's said, but do you feel that, have you seen, where you just really feel the corporations that you've worked with or companies or organizations? So I'm not talking about people that come to the center because
Yes.
they come there because they want it, but
Mm,
they don't necessarily come to an organization looking for this, right? So have you
no.
seen over the time maybe that you've worked with them, if you get to work with them more than 1 or 2 days, some kind of a shift we're talking about?
Yes. Well, finally, it's a question of persons, of people, no? Personal changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And depending on who is changing, creates a big change around him or her, no?
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if the organization has a big change because sometimes people change and then comes another one and change completely all the system that it was before created. So there are in
Mhm.
constant changes. But what I've seen is that when one executive or manager changes and sees the importance of creating a little bit of silence, or in the meetings just start with a moment of silence. Many of them, they have started like this, and they create a big impact. And this impact can be much bigger or smaller depending on the influence that they have. And I'm not sure if it influenced the whole company, but at least it has an influence in many people who are around him or down him. And so I inspire people to change more than the organization, because the organization is something more abstract, no? And so many changes. And if a group of people, they change, of course, they can bring a change in the organization. But my focus is, if one of whole group changes, that's fine. You know, so it's a little thing, but has a big impact.
And I love what you're saying, that all it takes is one person, because what is it? One person changes another person and another person. And I remember we were having meditation classes that we had started, BK classes, when I was working at a PBS station for many years. And we had this class, and only a few people came, but there were more people that would come. And it wasn't really sanctioned by the station. But I mean, they knew about it and they were okay with it, but it wasn't like the station invited this. We just kind of started, and they knew, they were fine with it. But one of the heads of the station, or kind of one of the supervisors, I'd say, actually, of some of my programs, one day, and I was always saying, come, but she never came. And then one day she happened to come downstairs when we were finishing and people were walking out. And she says, even if I don't come, she says, I feel the energy in this building changes, and I'm feeling something when you all come to meditation there. And I was like, that touched me, because that's kind of what we do learn with the Brahma Kumaris, right? Like, what you're saying is, it's that energy, and it affects, we might not even know who's being affected, and they might not even be in the room,
Exactly.
And something happens. So how do you feel about, what do you say to people that just go, the world is, we hear this constantly, right? So negative, so much to worry about. Everything is terrible. Every day I hear someone saying something about how frightened they are. And so how do you help people deal with, let's say, fear and uncertainty in their lives?
Well, the first thing must be not very popular, but I would say, and I say many times this in the lectures and workshops and everything, don't connect so much with the news. Because I see that people, for example, the other day when I went here in Spain, I took the taxi to the airport. And when I entered the taxi, the news were there. So blah, 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 blah. And all the news are negative. So I said to the taxi man, please, can you change and put some classic music? Oh, yes, yes. So the energy changes. So if you are listening all the time, the news in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, so you are connecting with this energy of fear, then your mind is full of these ideas that many of them also, we don't know if they are true or not, because, there are so many false information also, because we don't know who is telling you what. So it's better to know what is happening, of course, and you know that the titles, no, and it's enough. There is war here, there is war there, there is conflict here, there is whatever. But then connect with yourself, connect with the beauty of yourself and the beauty of others, and create this energy. I believe in creating the atmosphere, creating the energy. So if we want to help the world, we have to create in ourselves a world of peace, or a world of harmony, a world of happiness. And then this will spread out and influence many people and know what is happening. And when I know something, I meditate more, instead of looking for more information, what is happening, how it's happening, why it's happening. No, no, no. This is happening. There is more conflict, more suffering. So I need to meditate more, because I need to compensate this energy as much as I can, of course. But at least I will feel good with myself. I'm doing something for the world, instead of just becoming more worried about and creating more fear, which is creating the same energy that is in the world. So I'm contributing to create more fear in the world. And this is something that we need to understand. What kind of energy I want to create in the world? So if I want to create peace, I need to create peace in myself first and not be connected with so much, thoughts and ideas outside. So I try to change the conversations because people also, when you meet them, the first thing
Mm,
they do or they talk is about the news and about the wrong
right.
news and the bad news and
Absolutely.
all the time. So I try to change. Okay, yes, it's true, this is happening, but do you know what? And I change the topic and try to create new kind of conversations, more inspirational conversations, and create an atmosphere that can be different. So at least I feel comfortable with myself because I know I'm doing something. In the other way, you are not only not doing something, you are doing something wrong because you are creating more, more fear and more negativity. So think about this. I would inspire people to think how to change themselves so that they can influence them outside.
And to give them this feeling, instead of, I mean, when you talk about the news and what's happening, what do you feel? You don't feel optimistic at all. You feel the opposite, pessimistic, right? Like the world is, over tomorrow. So that's a whole other issue. But really, the optimism is, and it's just part of the Brahma Kumaris teachings. Excuse me, let me just drink some water. Is because you're saying that we're actually one by one, really creating change in the world. Right. And
Mm.
so maybe you could speak a little bit about, this, what the Brahma Kumaris believe in terms of this creating a new age and right now on earth. And you just did talk about it.
Well,
Um,
the slogan of the Brahma Kumaris is when we change, the world changes. So
mm,
this is the main belief inside. And I've taken this belief as part of my life. And whatever I do, I think that I'm changing the world in a sense that if one person is changing, the world is a little bit better today. So if every day I change myself, but also I help someone to change, the world can be better. And then we can influence each other and the world can be a better place. And of course, there has to be sometimes a cleanliness. No, sometimes if you are in your home and everything is in disorder, sometimes you think, okay, let's take it everything out and let's put it again in a better way. So what I'm seeing in the world that this is something that yes, it's negative, it's pessimism because it's what we see, but always behind something there is a benefit. It's like if we only see the winter during the day and the winter becomes dark, becomes gray, becomes cold, all the trees without leaves. So if you don't know that spring is coming, you say, what is this? What is happening to the world? No, it's becoming dark and cold. So we cannot live like that. No, but wait a little bit. Wait, what comes after the winter? Spring, completely new life, no flowers growing. So we are in the winter now at a glow level, and there is a new spring just in front of us. So we have to work for the new spring and seed, no, and sow the seeds for the new area age, and then wait a little bit, have patience, transform, and see how the world will start to change in a better way.
and it does feel that way. It really, to me, feels, that this is what's happening, that we're actually here. This is an exciting time. We're actually very lucky to be here, right? At this time on the planet, because it's moving so quickly. But there are a lot of good things happening with this movement, isn't there? And
Exactly. There are the bad news
yeah.
and the bad things, they make more noise. But there
Mhm.
are a lot of good things happening, and the consciousness of the human beings, for some human beings, are raising. And as they call it, a critical point. I don't know in English, el punto crítico.
Yeah, yeah.
Critical point. You don't need to make everyone change. You change to a point that enough people have changed, and the vibrations is enough to make a big change then suddenly. So I believe in that we have to work on ourselves and inspire others, and it will reach one point when the energy is enough to make the big change. So this is the hope for the future, and this is what I'm doing, all what I'm doing, seeing that a new world is possible, and also feeling, not only seeing, but feeling that if we change, it's possible to change and create a new world and a better world.
And even if it's, one person at a time, another person,
Yes.
To feel, well, not to feel ever, oh, that's all there is, that's, one person listened to me, but to feel that that's part of this growing number of people.
Yes.
And yeah, I shared this experience with our became Zoom class a couple of weeks ago, that there's someone that it's been taking me for years to the airport. It's not very far, but he never ever, we never had really a talk about meditation, but
Mhm.
I would just still hand him things, we're doing this program, we're doing that program. And then the last big program that we did was with Shivani a few weeks ago. And I don't even remember handing him the flyer, but he showed up there and he said that changed his life. And then from there, he's been at one of our teachers, Ganga's. He's gone to the classes and he's coming regularly. And what he said to me was we never had a discussion about anything really over, some years, that he said he loves these people. He loves these people, the Brahma Kumaris, and that he just can't get enough of it. And I mean, sometimes there are people that you don't really expect because you really haven't had that interaction. And then I have friends that know everything about not everything, but they know a lot about, what we do, but haven't run to a center. So, and they're getting, but they're changing, they watch a lot on YouTube, and they learn.
Exactly.
So it's like,
We
I
have
think
the
we can't know, can we? We just have to keep
going.
doing it, being it.
And now with the social media, as you do these programs, we are reaching so many people and they are changing their lives because I'm receiving many comments about our meditations and lectures, and they see I've changed my life. It's not that are very nice and I love them. It's very nice. No, I've changed my life and I continue to change with your no lectures or work or programs. So social media is reaching much more people now, and now it's more you see that the change can happen. Mhm.
It's like just spreading, almost, just
Exactly,
spreading, and then something's going to
and more
happen
and more.
good to me. I mean,
Exactly.
that's how I see it.
Yes, me too. Mhm.
I did also just wanted to, of course, because I know you're really busy, you're doing a big program at Peace Village, the Brahma Kumaris Retreat Center in upstate New York. So, but we have to mention the two big programs that you're here in Miami
Yes,
for. First, there's a workshop in Spanish coming up.
yes.
And then after that, and the dates are the
The
26th and
date
the
is
27th,
26.
I hope.
26
Yeah,
October is the workshop in
yeah.
Spanish about meditation and conquering your fears and empowering the self. And
Mhm.
then the other one is in English. It's a lecture on the 27th October and the power of a quiet mind. Hmm?
So we could talk about that here for hours probably, but you're going to
Yes, of
be
course.
there. And so we hope that people will, it's free, as all events, Brahma Kumari events are free, and they've always been, and I'm sure they always will be. I know they
Yes.
always will be. And so people can just register. We're going to put something up after the program, for people to register. And so, I mean, it's just really, to me, the message is this is an exciting time in the world, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you have a choice. You want to be with dismal news, you want to be with
Exactly.
depression and terrible things happening, mean people you don't like, or do you want to be with realize there's a lot of good people out there, aren't they, trying to make change themselves?
I agree completely. You
So it's
choose.
a
No?
pleasure
So,
to get to interview you. I've known about you for so long. I don't think we ever met before. I've, of course, known your name and what you're doing. And I'm glad to get to meet you on Zoom. And I will see you at the church.
in
Yes.
person, we will see
Yes.
in a few days. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for taking the time. And I know you got to run to the whole workshop that's going to be going on this weekend at Peace Village. Great to talk with you.
Shanti.
Yes. And I want to thank our production person, director, technical director, Mita, who's coming to us all the way from India. So Mita, thanks for taking the time. I don't know what time it is out there in India, up there in India. I think it's kind of late, but Meet always says yes to everything, as does Amar, who helps a lot on the program, who's up there with you in Peace Village right now. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And as the Brahma Kumaris say, Om Shanti, I am peace.
Om Shanti.